Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the weekend. It's Hobby Evolution, episode 665. College football. I'm wearing my Badgers hoodie. Wisconsin season opener tonight, 6 o'clock against the Redbirds of Illinois State. Got some other big games, a couple of big top 25 matchups. So tuned in. There were a couple Friday night games in college football last night. I had the Indiana-Illinois game on for just a little bit. Just check that out. Was looking at box scores to see how the players in Bowman U have been performing. I forgot Emory Jones transferred from Florida. He's at Arizona State. I saw an article, so I'm like, ooh, how'd he do? Not very well. And somebody was somebody in the Indiana-Illinois game? I can't remember. Anyway, a lot of college football games on. I'm excited. More so this year because of Bowman U. Like I have I have money attached to college football this year, whereas typically it's like I don't bet on sports. I don't play fantasy college football, so it's not something that I'm like invested in, but now I'm invested with Bowman U. And I did an inventory check because I've been opening random boxes of Bowman U. If my computer's slow to boot up, I'll just grab a box off the shelf and do a quick ripped one yesterday morning on Hobby Evolution. So I've been doing that. So I'm down to like 35 unopened boxes, blaster boxes. And I'll probably list some more. I think I'm going to list some of my hits, some of the autos and refractors. I thought about just holding until like a big game, but I don't want to do that. I think I'm just going to, now that we're here, I'll kind of see. I've been searching. I've been doing an eBay search on sold, what's been selling. Skylar Thompson has been selling, and I think is he in the NFL? That's the one thing with Bowman U. I'm like confused. Some players that are in the product are in the NFL, and some are obviously still in college. So I've been checking the sold searches just to see who's a hot commodity. Paige and Deanie Bean, good morning to you. Randy, what's up? Thanks for the cards and the personalized note. I'll be back for more. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it. DR driving back to New York with a trunk full of cards. That's awesome and like annoying at the same time. And here's what I mean, Dan. You're driving back and you're excited because you're going home. You're also excited because you've got a trunk full of cards, right? But at the same time, you've got a trunk full of cards and you've got a long drive ahead of you. I mean, I get excited driving home from Goodwill with a trunk full of cards. And it's like, man, I wish I could just stop. Or if I pick up a collection, a couple hours away, and I picked up a bunch of cards from Shannon, who lives down in Sterling, Illinois. And I met up with a college friend who coaches volleyball at the high school there in Sterling. And so we had lunch at Buffalo Wild Wings, my friend and I. And I've got all these cards in the back of my SUV, and I'm like just itching, and I'm waiting for Dale to get to Buffalo Wild Wings. So I'm like digging through. I'm like looking to see what's in there, and it's like I just want to get home and look at cards. Ed, what's up? Good morning. John is with us. What's up? George, what's going on? Ed says, caught your chat with Ty last night. Great stuff. I finally figured out my photo orientation problem with Card Dealer Pro, ready to ramp it up now. Interesting. What is your photo orientation problem? I have a photo orientation issue, but it's more so with the scanner, with the Fujitsu scanner, as opposed to, I think, Card Dealer Pro. So after I scan all my images, I have to go and like rotate some, and it's weird. Some sets, it like knows the orientate. Like I did a bunch of, I think it was Topps Archives, like 2020 Topps Archives baseball. And I like 120 of them scanned, and they all scanned correctly. Even the horizontal cards came. It's like, oh, this is perfect. I don't have to spend another 2 minutes to rotate my images. Yeah, that was a great, always fun talking with Ty. Bench Clear Media, check it out. Our latest video, we talked about kind of selling efficiencies and kind of tackled several different topics. And Ty's also on the bulk mailing label bandwagon. And I'm going to keep an open mind because I've had so many people tell me it's a game changer. And I'm being stubborn, but I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm not going to completely poo-poo the idea and say my way is the highway. So maybe one of these days I'll give it a go. Here's my question. I wonder if would it work? Would it work with the volume I do? Because like right now I'm sitting on almost 200 items to ship. I don't know. I'm hesitant before jumping on the bulk bandwagon, but I do want to give it a go and just try it. Maybe just do a little trial run. So we'll see. It won't be this weekend just because I'm so buried. I don't want to do any experiments while I'm buried in Goodwill cards and preparing for a card show that I'll be set up at tomorrow, which is the topic today, efficiently shopping a card show. There's my buddy Tony over in Oak Creek runs his show, 130 tables. Oak Creek is just south of Milwaukee. So big show there. I'll be in Janesville, over 100 tables in Janesville tomorrow. And then if you're a little further south, Shipshewana has a big show. And I know a lot of the people that do both Oak Creek and Janesville will be doing the Shipshewana show on Labor Day on Monday. So I wanted to tackle the subject of card shows and, as a buyer, how to efficiently shop a card show. So we'll talk about that today. John says, I get excited going from my bedroom to the basement where the cards are. Ed says there's data in the original image that forces it to rotate 90 degrees. I found an app that will allow you to remove that data in bulk. Interesting. I had no idea. John says, I've been having issues printing eBay PWE labels from the website. Comes out completely janky. I have to save it as a PDF and then print from Adobe. Interesting. So I haven't had that issue with the PWE labels. What I am having issues with, and it just recently popped up, I used to, prior to me using standard label, I didn't start using standard label shipping until like December or January, because I was buying stamped envelopes for much cheaper. Yeah, there's no tracking, but I was saving like 20 cents per shipment, which adds up a lot in volume. And I'm sure it's just a setting within that's got changed or something during one of their updates. Anyway, so when I would ship out, and I still have to do this very, on a very, not too common, but sometimes Puerto Rico there are certain places in Puerto Rico that don't do PWE because it doesn't route through center that has the tracking devices. It's about 50-50 with Puerto Rico shipments, standard envelope. So the ones that I can't ship standard envelope to Puerto Rico, I just slap a stamp on, and you can print from the like ship label screen where you would go to print your postage. You can also just print the address on an address label. So that's what I, formerly did. And that's what I do with Puerto Rico. If it doesn't pop up with standard envelope. But for some reason it won't print. Like it comes up, as John says, janky. And so now it's just, instead of spending the time to figure it out, because I use it so rarely, that I don't want to spend the time to figure it out, because I may only use it once a week. So I just write it. It's much faster just to write it down. So that's something that I have had issues with. I haven't had the actual labels, knock on wood. There's no wood around here, but knock on wood. Hopefully I don't come across that because that would really slow me down. John says computers don't make mistakes. Humans do. The humans program computers are dicks. Victor, what is up? Good morning. John says there's a first time 100 table show minutes from my house. Trying to come up with a reason to slip out of the house. There you go. How about going to a card show? That's a good reason. So yesterday, what did I do yesterday? Yesterday was Friday. I did go through a lot of what the hell did I do yesterday? Because I didn't ship. I talked to Ty. It must have been a lazy Friday. Because my computer was still, I didn't ship after 10 a.m. because Ty and I did our interview at 10 a.m. yesterday. And that's, by the way, that's on Bench Clear Media's website or YouTube channel. Check it out. So in my like last night, I'm like, oh, hey, I guess I didn't do any shipping after 10 a.m. yesterday. Maybe that's why I'm buried with shipments. I did go through a lot of boxes. I went through a lot of like junk wax boxes. And like I said at the very beginning of this latest Goodwill pallet, I think it's going to be a lot of junk wax. There are a lot of boxes that are in I think they're in not cereal boxes, but the heavy duty, like it's the box that like other boxes go into. There's a lot of those heavy duty boxes, and I think it's going to be all junk wax. At least that's what I'm preparing myself for. There weren't as many binders, which I like binders because usually binders is where I find some decent stuff. I did find, I pulled out 2 binders last night, and there was a Gary Payton Bowman Chrome X-Fractor, which sells for about $20. So that was in a binder. There was another binder of it was like the master set, WNBA. This was I'm curious what other WNBA could be still in the trunk of my car. Because the first video I did was all those Ziploc bags filled with autos, relics, and rookies of WNBA players. And I did sell a couple Sue Bird cards already. So there was a master set of 2000 Skybox Dominion, has a Becky Hammon rookie. There were all the inserts, master set was in there. So I did list some of those in eBay last night. I casually uploaded 500 listings to eBay, just in probably less than 2 hours. In fact, I did 120 listings as my frozen pizza. I put my frozen pizza in the oven. I went, scanned, and uploaded and made sure everything was accurate while the frozen pizza was in the oven. And then I uploaded to eBay. They all successfully went into my eBay store. I went into the kitchen. There were still 4 minutes left on my frozen pizza, which, by the way, was DiGiorno rising crust Italian sausage, which I'm very happy about because the local grocery store, and I've complained about it, they're always out of stock of stuff. And I get it. I think it's just, that's what's happening in our world today. Everybody's short of supplies and goods. But when I went to the grocery store on Thursday, it was like I came home. My wife's always expecting me to say, well, this and this wasn't in the store. They were out of this and this. They had everything. And even more, the frozen pizza section was completely stocked, and they never have just regular rising crust sausage, whether it be DiGiorno or Jack's or hell, any other brand I'll take. There's been a couple times that I'll drive to Hy-Vee, which is out of my way. It's like another 10 minutes. I'll drive to Hy-Vee to just buy a rising crust sausage pizza. I don't like pepperoni. And that's what it's like. You get either cheap, like the store that I go to, which is Pick and Save. They're owned by Kroger. They're always out of stuff. They only have rising crust pepperoni and rising crust cheese. And it's like, I want sausage rising crust pizza. They finally had it. I do prefer Jack's over DiGiorno, but I'll take DiGiorno, and it was good. So I had that last night. And I did have a weird grocery store cashier lane happen. So, and it's like a young, probably a high school kid, probably like first day on the job, second day on the job. And so he rings everything up, and there's no like, I think like the baggers must have been on break or something. So there's no bagger. And so I pay, and then he has everything and none of it's bagged. And he just goes, thanks, have a nice night. And then like turns around and like waits for the next person. And I'm like, I just kind of stood there for a second. Like, am I supposed to bag my own groceries? Like, what happens now? Like, I'm not used to this. So I started bagging my own groceries, which, okay, I'm okay with that. I worked at a grocery store in high school. I know how to bag groceries. So then there was nobody else in line. So then he started bagging the groceries as well. So I'm sure he probably just wasn't trained. Like he probably like, my job is to run the cash register and somebody else bags groceries, because typically that's how it works at this store. So bag my own groceries. I was cool with it. It took me back to when I was his age, back in high school, bagging groceries at my local IGA. I've also noticed that I'm getting I've always been very good with bagging groceries because I did that in high school. But I've noticed when I load my cards, when I buy these pallets from Goodwill, because they come in a Gaylord, which I just call it a pallet because most people know what a pallet is. If I say a Gaylord of cards, most people are going to be like, what the hell is a Gaylord? Which I would have been in the same. I worked in transportation. So I knew what a Gaylord is from my previous line of work. But a Gaylord is basically, it's a pallet with a box on it, like a big heavy duty cardboard box. So it is a pallet, but it just has a box around it. So, when they come in the Gaylord in the big box, there's like binders and 4-row boxes and shoe boxes and Ziploc bags. It's like just a mishmash. So obviously, what's on the bottom of the pallet needs to go in my car first, but that's just not how it can work sometimes. Now, sometimes if there's more boxes, I can like fit it in. So I've become pretty good with stocking my car with these cards and putting the puzzle together. Okay, I need these boxes to go on first, that's pretty common sense. But when it comes to like, what do I put on the top? When I open the hatch, what I don't want to happen is I open the hatch and like what goes on the top is typically like the Ziploc bags and the smaller boxes. All of a sudden, these boxes just collapse because they've been jostled around in the back of the SUV. So I've become very good at like Tetrising in the different size boxes and okay, how is this going to stay put? And when I open the hatch, nothing falls and hits me in the head. Let's see. Let's go into the chat. Low Roller Scratcher back in the house. Missed you yesterday. Let's see. John says, I'm digging through 30,000 basketball cards from the 1990s. Is that considered junk wax? I know baseball and football were overproduced. Was basketball as well? Yes. Basketball, I would say probably 1990. The junk wax era for basketball started a little later than baseball. And probably around the same time, I would say football, and others in the chat probably know better. I think football junk wax probably 89, because I don't think 88. I don't see 88 as mass produced. At least, I see 88 a lot, but not as much as for football. 89, 90, 91, 92. That's what I see for football. Not as much 88, and especially going back further. Basketball, it's probably like 1 year closer, more recent. I would say probably 90 for basketball, and especially 91. 89 is still like, I don't see much 89 basketball in the bulk collections, bulk buys, Goodwill pallets. But 1990 for sure, like 90 NBA hoops. What's the other one? Skybox premiered in 1990, so I see a ton of that. So that was 1990, I would say, begins the basketball junk wax era. It wasn't as massively produced as baseball, but it was still massively produced. And, I see a lot of basketball from that early 90s era. Low Roller says, I heard you mention the last stream you were going to start listing in hockey and soccer. I am not. I may, if I come across something, basically anything hockey and soccer will go into my 25-cent boxes. Because I don't want to take the time to learn, because I'm stubborn. So I'll be in Janesville, Wisconsin tomorrow. So anybody in the area, you can shop my hockey and soccer boxes, because there might be some gold in there. Herman, what is up? Good morning to you. Need more quarter boxes to dig through. My last batch is flying out of eBay. Oh, isn't that an awesome feeling? I listed some of my dollar box finds in my eBay store last night. And yeah, it's like, man, now I'm itching to get back. There was a card that I had pulled. Oh, what card was it? And it was like, when I went to comp it, it's like, oh, hey, it comped out at, I probably can't, I wonder if I can find it. Oh, wow. Here's one that's sold already. One of my dollar box finds. It was a 1967 Topps number 539. So I think that's a semi-high number. Dick Egan of the Dodgers pulled it out of the dollar box. It sold for $7.50, and I just listed it 12 hours ago. So that was a good one. That was one I did look at because I was curious if it was a high number or not. Hey, I sold a Bowman U card just now. Malik Cunningham. All right. Oh, wrong screen. I'm going to try to see what – there was a card that I pulled out of the dollar box that when I went to comp, I was surprised. There was a Miguel Cabrera Prism. I think it was Prism, like blue donut circles, that sold for $5. So I was pretty happy with that. If I go to active listings and sort by newly listed, and it's going to bring up all of the relists. Okay, so I won't do that. But there was a card that I listed last night that I was surprised because I think it comps for around like $15. Let's see. Paige and Deanie Bean says John fake an injury to get out of the house. There you go. John says Bo's going to start following the frozen pizza distributor trucks. I'll put a tracking device on them, like the people that were putting tracking devices on the baseball card distributors. Let's see. Herman says, and it's not soccer or hockey. Let's see. John has a plan. Let's see. I have seen a customer at a grocery store walk right up to grape nut cereal and clear the shelf of that stuff. Interesting. Is grape nuts like not common? A not common cereal? John says I equate score football with junk wax era. Yeah, I see score. A lot. And there's like no value to it. Like you pull a score rookie of like Trevor Lawrence and it's like a $3 card. Where if it's a Prism, it's, I don't know, 20. I don't know. What's a Trevor Lawrence Prism rookie go for? Maybe it doesn't go for that much. Kyle says, looking forward to Badger football, but torn today as my wife's cousin starts at tackle for ISU. That's cool. That is cool. See, I've got to root for Bucky because I hate Illinois State. I'm a Western Illinois guy, so I've got to root against the Redbirds. Although, and I've shared this story before, I was torn with my college decision. I went to junior college. I went to Blackhawk for 2 years, actually 3. And I like kept waffling between Illinois State and Western Illinois. Basically, it depended on which had the better parties that semester. If I had more fun on Cherry Street at ISU, I'd tell my counselor I want to go to ISU. And then so we'd look at the ISU catalog. And then the next semester, I might have had a better time at Western. It's like, let's look at the WIU catalog. So I was torn. But I will say, Illinois State's, it's a great college town. I don't know about their academics, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But it's a great area. Like Bloomington Normal, like has everything, and it's as far as its location, I definitely preferred the location to Macomb, which was out in the middle of nowhere. And I almost took a job. I had a job offer from a transportation company, and my home base would have been in Bloomington, and ended up taking the job up here. And I mean, actually, no, I'd say if I would have taken that job at ISU, maybe I'd be wearing a Redbirds sweatshirt. But I don't think they're in the same football conference as Western. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could stoop to that level of wearing an Illinois State shirt. Paige and Deanie Bean says Gaylord Perry, Hall of Fame. Right. Like prior to me working in transportation, a Gaylord was either Meet the Parents is it Meet the Parents? Ben Stiller, Meet the Parents, Gaylord Fokker, or Gaylord Perry. Score and Pro Set Football, Junk Wax era. But you listed more WNBA cards the last 2 days. I've got a lot of WNBA cards that I'll be listing because I have them. Let's see. You sold more WWE and more NASCAR cards. The NASCAR, Kyle in the chat bought my NASCAR cards. I think he's the only person that's bought any of my NASCAR cards. Thank you, Kyle. So yeah. What's up, Mark Hoyle? So yeah, that's what I did. Listed a bunch of cards on eBay. Listed some WNBA. Did not list any hockey or soccer, but you can find me tomorrow in Janesville with quarter boxes of hockey and soccer. And speaking of card shows, that's what I wanted to talk about today. How to efficiently tackle a card show. And this is a common question, especially a bigger show like the National. If somebody's going to the National for the first time, it's overwhelming. Even to me, I've been to the National before. When I walk in, it can be overwhelming. Not anymore. I know I'm going straight to the singles club, which is dollar boxes. I know, boom, beeline. I look at the map. I know where I'm going. But there's shows of all shapes and sizes. We go to, you could have like a small town VFW show, Knights of Columbus, like where I grew up and went to shows where it might be 20 tables or less. Hotel shows of 100 tables to the Burbank show of how many tables were out there, 300 or 400. All the way up to a 700 card Dallas card show. And then boom, the monstrosity that is the annual National Sports Collectors Convention. You can't tackle everyone the same. Everyone's got to be different. So I'm going to start with how I tackle a card show of a small size. So case in point, I went to a show in Woodstock, Illinois back in January. And it was a small show, like 20 tables, probably 20 tables, maybe 25. And it's in a church gymnasium, I think. And I'd never been to the Woodstock show, but as I walked in, I knew half the dealers because Woodstock's not far from Rockford. So I knew them from the Rockford show. And I think one or two of the dealers have done my Madison show. So basically what I did is, the dealers that I recognized, I basically knew what they had. So I walked the room because it's a pretty small room. It's just a gymnasium. So I just kind of check it out. And then if I'll kind of keep back in my mind, okay, that guy in the corner had bargain boxes. That's what I'm going to. And I guess I should rewind and say, have a plan of attack going into a card show. What's your objective for the card show? Are you looking for bargains out of a quarter box or a dime box or a dollar box? Are you shopping for a specific card? Or are you just looking to get deals? And I guess that can be from $1 to $1,000 or whatever it might be, whatever your budget suggests. So have that objective going in, and that's going to vary from a small show to a national. My objectives, vary wildly, and so just I'll stay on point. Let's keep on the course of the Woodstock show from a small standpoint, and then I'll go into the national. So in Woodstock, I knew half the dealers, I knew what they had, so I just kind of circled the room. I went around the perimeter, I looked at all the tables. Then there were 2 or 3 dealers that had stuff that I thought that I would like. At that point, I go back and I start looking through. So my objective at this particular show in January in Woodstock was I was looking for bargain boxes. So now I have another objective when it comes to another strategy when it comes to shopping a bargain box, especially if it's a dealer I don't know, I'm not familiar with. So I'll go and I'll grab a pile. And I'll flip through the pile, and if it's a bunch of like commons or like, okay, if it's a dollar box and these are like quarter box cards and I don't see anything, I'll put that pile back, and then I'll just kind of fan through the other rows, and if there's nothing there that suits me, I'll move on to the next table. But maybe I pull out a pile. I think I'm going to do a more in-depth video, and I'll probably do this either if I buy like a bulk bargain box, and then that way I can show you, hey, I can do it at home as opposed to being at a show. Here's what I look for in a flip. So I'll, maybe there's something that catches my eye. And a lot of times if something catches my eye in that first pile, I won't pull it out because it could be the only card I want. And it's like, it's a quarter, or it's $1. It's like, screw it. I'll pull a second pile out. Now, if there's more cards, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to pull that first card out, start a pile. So that's kind of my objective from a bargain box. So if it's a new show, it's a small show, I'll walk the room, and then I'll make mental notes on, okay, that guy in the corner has bargain boxes. This guy in the opposite corner has bargain boxes. And then I'm just going to pick or choose based on, okay, there's nobody at that table, but there's 2 guys over here. I'm going to go over there. There might be nobody in this table and 2 people at that table because that guy with 2 people at his table has way better bargain boxes than the guy that is all alone. So I'll check it out. Maybe that's the case. And then I'll go join the other 2 and try to find something good in those boxes. So before I move on to then I want to share my objectives when it comes to a big show like the National. Let's go into the chat. Kyle says we are one NASCAR documentary away from a boom in NASCAR card values. That could be. It happened with Formula One, with F1. So you could be right on the mark. John says, don't stop and have hey girl time. I spent 5 minutes talking to people at the National this year. Focus, eye of the tiger. That's a great point. I do want to, I want to share, and I am going into my objective at the National. The first, I don't know if it was last year, or it was probably last year's National. I didn't wear my Cubs cardometer on the first day. And here's why. I don't think maybe I did. But I didn't want to. If I did, I didn't wear it because I had an objective, just like John says. I didn't want hey girl time. I didn't want to be stopped every 10 feet. Hey, the cardometer. Oh, you're up to X amount of cards, blah, 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 blah. Little small chat, because that was taken away from my time at the very first run at the dollar boxes at the singles club. So head down, I knew exactly where their booth was. So when the doors opened at 3 o'clock on that first day of the national, head down, beeline to the singles club, and now I'm searching. Now, if somebody wants to come talk to me as I'm looking through cards, at least I'm there and I'm not like, okay, speed it up. Let's go. So, yes, agree with John. Eye of the tiger, focus, head down, boom, go. Then you can have hey girl time at the dollar box table because at least you're searching and you're digging. So, let's go back into the chat. I forgot I have my mouse with me. There we go. Much easier to scroll up and down. Mark says, my collection is pretty focused. If I see new shiny slabs, I walk by. I'm not a bargain box guy either. I know my dealers I'm looking for. Many times deals made before I get there. Definitely. And everybody, that's what's golden about card shows is everybody has their own objective. Where Mark doesn't do shiny slabs or bargain boxes. I do basically only bargain boxes, and the next guy might do only shiny slabs. So everybody has their same object. Everybody has their own objective, and it's not the same for everyone. But have a plan of attack going into the show. And if you don't know what you're going into, if you don't know what you're walking into, make a quick sweep of the room, and then focus on that. And then go back and like, okay, I saw this card I like, whether it's a shiny slab or a bargain box or a complete set of 88 tops, then go back and tackle it. Ed says, singles club for the win. I grabbed half the 1960 Fleer baseball set in great condition there on day 2. Oh, man, that's impressive that they had. Usually I haven't found much vintage out of the singles club. Now I'm chasing the rest. Lots of value to be had there. Tracy says, happy Saturday, getting my bow fix after missing the show all week. Tracy, good to have you back. Tom Cruise ensured that NASCAR will never be mainstream. Days of Thunder, man. I think Hardee's. Whatever happened to Hardee's? The thick burger? That was like maybe the thick burger resulted in too many clogged arteries and heart disease. But man, that was the Hardee's thick burger. It was like they had all the commercials, and my God, it was like how big of a thick burger could you get? And now it's like Hardee's. I don't know if there's only one Hardee's that I know off the top of my head where a Hardee's is at in like the entire 500,000 population Dane County, Middleton. And I'm sure there's several Hardee's like in Madison, but it's not like a fast food joint. And I eat fast food, but I have my like McDonald's just because it's a go-to. Dunkin', Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Burger King, occasional Taco Bell, but Hardee's. Whatever happened to Hardee's? Probably the curse of Tom Cruise. They sponsored Days of Thunder, gave away the little Matchbox cars. It was all downhill from there. Actually, they peaked at thick burger, and then it was all downhill from there. Too much heart disease, too many clogged arteries. Clogged arteries from Hardee's. Let's see. Ed says, John, I was honored to be part of your 5 minutes. Ed and I probably have a complete 63 set between us. 60 Fleer. Where we at? Let's see. John says you were worth it. Ed, Jenny is with us. What is up? Good morning. I'm just here in time for the main topic. Yeah, if you see a topic you like, just fast forward to the 30-minute mark, and that's usually when I start talking about the topic in the title. Low Roller Scratcher says you should get flea market booth in your area. Let's see. Mark says go to the left on entry. Everyone usually goes right. Now, this is an interesting, that's an interesting observation. I always go left. Does everyone, I want to poll everyone watching right now. When you walk into a card show, do you go left or right? I always go left. Do most people go right? I am very curious. Now that I think about it, I always go left. unless there's like a logjam of people. But if I had my druthers, if I chose a direction as I walk in, am I going left? Am I going right? And both ways are unobstructed. I'm going left every time. I'm going left. I'm very curious. Do most people go right? Or do you go left? Left or right? Drop it in the chat. Okay, so here we go. John goes left. Jenny goes forward. Even if there was a forward option, I would go left. Zach and Porter late to the game. What's up? John says only UPS drivers go right. Love that reference. Ed says I go left unless everyone else is, but mostly the masses go right, so I go left. Low roller goes center. So for Jenny and low roller, if center is not an option, if you walk in and there's tables straight ahead and you only can go left or right, it's a T. You come to a T intersection at a card show as you walk in. Do you go left or right? Low roller is going to go right. So I think the majority, though, so far, Mark says left, I say left, John goes left, Ed goes left, low roller is going to go right, Victor's going right. So 4-2, left over right. So this is kind of, in a couple people, and Mark said it and Ed said it, they go right or they go left because everybody goes right. Cooter goes right. Oh, it's getting closer. Cooter goes right. At the only show I go left because that's where the 72 guy is. So there's a qualifier to that one. Matthew goes left. Rick goes right. So it's about 50-50. Yeah, and Mark says some rooms are set up like, I'm thinking I think it's the Spectacular. It's in Rosemont. And when I'm thinking big show, so like the Madison card show, you only have one option in Madison. You walk in, like you have to go in the downstairs ballroom, you have to go right. You don't have an option. The upstairs, depending on which doors you go into, you either go left or right into the room. But in Rosemont, where the National is held, the National you can go straight, I think. But at the Spectacular, it's set up differently because it's in the different room. There's tables straight ahead, so you have to choose a direction, and I always go left. Okay, so there's a qualifier to that. In Rosemont, I go left because if you go right, there's more tables to the left because the right side takes you close to the autograph pavilion at the Spectacular in Rosemont. So I go left just because there's only like one row. So it's like I'll snake back around. There's more to look at this way. So I guess there is a qualifier to that. Now, I'm trying to think of other shows that I go to. Many shows, there's not an option. I guess I'm trying like Oak Creek. Like you go straight ahead. It's in a hallway and then. So the last time I went to Oak Creek, and I think he's added some rooms to it, it's kind of set differently. You go straight, and then I would straight and then veer right into that last room and then work my way left. So I guess I was going right. I'm trying to think of other shows. Janesville, I was set up, so I didn't really... And I was set up in a corner, so I only had one direction to go. Rockford, the way it's set up, you go into the main entrance, and then you feed into the gym. And you have to go right once you get into the gym. So that's interesting. I see. I love the thought process in some of these instances. So I guess if people are choosing which way to go, it's kind of 50-50. Paige and Deanie Bean go left. DR says right is more natural, but left is the smarter play. Interesting. I'm going to go back because I missed some of the comments up here. Let's see. Cooter's with us. Good morning, Cooter. John says Hardee's, I think, also bought Roy Rogers years ago. They've managed to kill both brands. Yeah, and Hardy's, did it start out as Sandy's? I think it started out as Sandy's. And what else was there? Was a Sambo's, but I don't know if that was part of Hardy's or not. Let's see. Herman says we have 2 within 30 minutes either way of me. Let's see. So here we're getting back into the directions. Let's see. Matthew says, are people finding shows to be absolutely packed with lines at every table for every box? I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing good crowds at card shows, but I'm not seeing like jam-packed. Every box is, every dealer is swamped. I'm not seeing that. And I mean, you will see that if it's a singles club type dealer that has absolute fire in their bargain boxes, you're going to find it jam packed to get into a bargain box. And that's when it's a good bargain box. If it's hard to get a place at the table, it's a good bargain box. But as far as overall crowds, I'm seeing it's steady, it's good. Card shows are crowded but not overcrowded, if that makes any sense. Let's see. Where are we at? Let's see. John says, I think something we're talking politics. Let's see. Where are we at? Jenny says, if I go left and walk into a wall, I'm going to blame you all for the advice. Paige and Deanie Bean says, baseball cards have to start coming back into food products. This is ridiculous. George stopped and grabbed a thick burger on the way to my desk job one day. Damn burger slipped out of the bun and in my lap, threw the damn thing out in the parking lot. That's unfortunate. That's a lot of burger you threw away. Let's see. John says left is clockwise, which you would think would be more natural. That was my thought process. Left would be more natural. Dan says, think about a grocery store. You shop to the right first or to the far left aisle first. The grocery store I go to, I start left because that's where the entrance is. So the entrance is left and then you work your way right. And usually like now I'm thinking grocery stores and like big box stores. Usually the doors are in one side or the other. Like the Hy-Vee that I was talking about, that's the doors are on the far left side. And then you work your way right. Grocery store, Pick and Save. On the left, go right. Target, there's entrances on the left and the right. I always go in on the left because that's where the cards are. Same with the big Walmart store. I go in through the outdoors and gardening section because it's usually the parking lot's less full and it's a closer walk to the cards. So it's based on where the baseball cards are. Let's see. John says the founder of Hardee's was named Hardy. Carl's Jr. Yes, that wasn't part of Hardee's. Let's see. Cooter says, when my wife and I go to an antique store, we walk in, check the layout, and discuss whether it's a lefty or a righty. I like it. Jenny says, I got to focus on listening to catch up to Mr. 20K. I did hit 20,000 listings last night. Low Roller says, what is your latest find in the Goodwill pallet? I can circle back to that. John says, my grocery stores have 2 entrances and we usually start left. That's, the grocery store, the only entrance is on the left side. The exit's on the right. The entrance is on the left. Jenny has been taking Ed's advice on capital letter names and everyone's advice on card number. Also starting adding baseball card instead of just card. So how do I tackle a big show? I'll go left because everybody's going right. I'll go left. But at a big show, I kind of have an idea of like if it's the National, I know I'm going to the singles club, head down, boom, going straight there. And after I do my shopping at the singles club, if there's time remaining in the show, I know the second dealer I'm going to go to, and it's Jennings, which has a card shop in Freeport, which It's cloudy. Maybe I should. I have almost 200 items to ship. I can't go shop for cards, and I'm doing card show tomorrow. Think, Bo, think. So I'll go to his, but I haven't been there in a while, and I'm itching to dig through those 50-cent boxes. So I'll hit, and so that's what I did last year. Singles Club first, and then Jennings was like just a few booths down. Boom, hit his 50-cent boxes. And so my strategy, like I had the National is, I mean, it's such a big show. My strategy is multi-layered. So my strategy last year for the National, I probably did videos on Hobby Evolution last July regarding my strategy for the National. But it was number one, first booth I'm going to as soon as the doors open, Singles Club, boom. And then that first day, which was Wednesday, that first night I'm strictly hitting the bargain boxes. Why? Because I want first crack at those bargain boxes. I want early advantage to digging through those dollar boxes and those quarter boxes. So then I hit Jennings. And then Thursday was also bargain box day because now I can shop. And so after I hit the early bargain boxes Wednesday night, work the floor, what other tables have bargain boxes that I can tackle on Thursday, and then tackle those tables on Thursday. Then Friday, now I'm shopping for pre-war Cubs cards for my PC, and keeping an eye out for looking for a Cap Anson, Allen and Ginter last year. Only found 2, and one was in a higher grade. We've got Thunder. It's going to rain. Frank put his rain gauge out yesterday, so I knew it was going to rain. It's good to see Frank is back to putting his rain gauge out. It was hit or miss there for a week. I only found 2 Cap Anson, Allen and Ginters. One was a low grade and it didn't have good eye appeal, and the guy wanted too much for it. The other one was too high of a grade. I didn't want to pay that much. I want a low grade with nice eye appeal. And when there's only 2 options, had to walk away. So that was my strategy, my plan of attack for the National. So that's kind of like that's how I roll. And I can't give advice on what other strategies for like higher end cards, because that's not the pool I swim in. So I'm a bargain box guy, so I can give my strategies on that. Let's see. Jenny says, we talked about that. John says, has anyone ever participated in the card auctions on fanatics.com? Interesting items. No, in fact, I didn't even know about that until I saw somebody tweet about it recently. I didn't know that was a thing. So maybe I'll check that out. When you say interesting items, interesting good or interesting like why? If it's interesting good, I'll check it out. If it's interesting why, maybe I'll just look at the train wreck. Paige and DD Bean says, how many bargain 5,000 boxes or rows at a show is considered appealing to collectors? Ooh, that's a good question, because it's not quantity, it's quality. So there may be somebody that has 30 bargain boxes on a table, but it's all junk. But then the next table, the guy may only have one 5-row box, but it's loaded. And how do you know? The biggest giveaway is if there's a bunch of people standing around. Now, you want to be an early adopter at the bargain box. You want to be the first one in there. Because if you're the third or fourth guy trying to find a row to dig through, you're going to miss out on some stuff. But sometimes it's just you didn't find it in time. That's the way it goes sometimes. So it's more quality over quantity. And here's another tip. Here's another little tip. And this kind of goes with, and I think it's Ryan Nolan talks about this, or maybe Mike Moynihan. When they look at a table at a show, and there's one vintage card and there's a bunch of modern cards, you can probably get a deal on that vintage because it's not their niche. And that's kind of along the same lines, a bargain box at a table that has a bunch of slabs, because they may value they may think a $10 card is below them. And that's kind of harsh. I shouldn't say that, but they may think it's a $10 card. I deal in $100 cards. This $10 card, if I move it for $1, like, hey, I can sell, 100 cards and make $100 instead of just, nickel and diming $10 here, $5 there, $8 there. So in many cases, if you find a dollar box at a table that's heavily skewed towards slabs and higher end cards, sometimes you can find great value in those dollar boxes, as opposed to the guy that's got 20, like a guy like me, who's got 20 quarter boxes. That's all I do. Now, I will say I do have good quarter boxes. I'm going to have some good ones tomorrow in Janesville, Wisconsin. So come on out and see me. I'll have some new stuff. And a lot of times, what I do, like with my quarter boxes, it's like with these Goodwill cards and low roller. I'll get back to the Goodwill pallet finds from yesterday. It's like I know I can list these in my store $2, $3, $4, but I'm just going to throw them in my quarter box because I've got so much other stuff to list. And so that's how it works sometimes. So let's go back into the chat. So that's my answer to Paige and Deanie Bean. It's not the quantity of bargain boxes. It's quality. And sometimes there could be hidden gems where you least expect them. Cooter says, in Dallas, in the main room, I go right because Roger Neufeld is the first booth on the right. And in the Starlight room, that's the way to Uncle Rich's Comp C table. John says, vintage slabbed oddball stuff. Oh, really? That is interesting. And that I find that interesting in a good way. I love oddball stuff. I'll check that out, Fanatics. Jenny says, Bo, if you want to go to Card Shop, make it a Wednesday or Thursday trip. It will make you plug along harder with eBay this weekend. Monday, Tuesday, knowing you're going to take a day off. That's kind of how I planned it in the past. I'll Thursday I'm going to go to the Card Shop. And that way I can really get ahead on my shipping and my listing and my shipping and plan it. And this is a Labor Day weekend. So yeah, maybe next week. And I'll look at the forecast. I also don't want to go spend a bunch of time, even though on it, it's like, I don't want to go I don't want to sit in a card shop all day when it's 80 degrees and sunny. But when it's 80 degrees and sunny, what do? I'm listing and shipping and listing inside my house. So it's what I do anyway. But we're supposed to cool off. I think this rain we're getting is part of a cold front that's coming in. So yeah, it's only going to be 73 today. Let's see. Oh, it's going to be back in the 80s by the end of the week. So anyway. Let's see. Dan says, are the patio cushions in? Yes. And you know why? Because when I went outside last night to take the dog out, I saw Frank's rain gauge in his backyard, and I'm like, oh, it's going to rain. And so I after I sat outside for a little bit, I brought put the patio cushions in the bin. Thank you, Frank. Oh, thank you, John, for the link. Open that in a new tab. Hopefully that works. For some reason, when people post links in the chat, they work to websites, but they don't work. And this is for me, and I think they work for others. But for me, if I click and even open a new tab, like a YouTube link, it doesn't work. But on websites, so for Fanatics, like the link worked. I don't know why that is. I haven't gone back in the videos to check, but during the live stream, they don't work for me. So here's some auctions. Oh, so what pops up is Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary 24-pack hobby box autograph, $200. That seems like a decent deal. I don't know anything about Topps Platinum, and they have light boxes for $100. So when I went to Walmart yesterday just to see, I had to get envelopes. Costco was out of envelopes again. So I had to go to Walmart to get envelopes, and I had to pay 5 cents per envelope because they didn't even have I had to buy them in 40. It's like, well, I need to buy 5. It's only $10, but it's 5 cents per envelope as opposed to 2.5 cents that I pay at Costco, which when you're doing thousands, that adds up. Now I only bought 100 and some just to get me through the day. But yeah, it all adds up. Where was I going? Oh, Walmart. They had some of the Topps Platinum retail boxes, but it was like $55, and it's like, I don't know if these are any good. I did an eBay search, and it's like, I'm gonna pass. Interesting. Yeah, they've got some Joe Torre 1962 Topps PSA 5.5. Huh. I'm going to let's see. I'm going to do a search for the cut. Can I do a search on here? How do I search? Okay, so Topps Cubs. Let's see what they got. What if they have Bowman in here? Should have been on StreamYard. Oh, they just have. Okay, so let's type in Bowman. See what they got for Bowman. I wonder if Walmart has Walmart.com. They haven't had, the stores haven't, just NASCAR stuff. Alex Bowman must be a racer. I might buy. We'll see. I'm going to see how my Bowman U sales do today, and if I see a spike in Bowman U sales, I might buy some more blaster boxes, because the 75 that I've bought already wasn't enough, I guess. Let's see. Below them. Reminder to slow down on the syllables. My LCS treats all vintage as the golden ticket. It's unfortunate. Cooter says, my experience is people who have only a couple of raw vintage are 50% too high because they don't know the market. Low Roller says you can also do pick a set for hockey and soccer. Herman says, where are we at? Herman says need a virtual quarterback search of Bo's boxes. That would be fun. I've thought about like doing a YouTube live like stack sale. And I've seen, I think JT, it's Triple Crown 24. I think he's done that. I think I saw him do something like that recently. I just wonder how that would do, but it doesn't fit my, like, I'm not organized, and it seems like it would be more work. It just wouldn't pay off, I think. It might be fun, but with the volume I'm doing, I just don't know if it would be worth. Is the juice worth the squeeze? I don't think the juice would be worth the squeeze. It would be fun, but I just don't think it would be a payoff for the time involved. Let's see. Jenny says, speaking of Uncle Rich, he's doing a card show this weekend. If you're in Texas, go check it out. Absolutely. Let's see. Jenny says, yes, Herman, you're onto something. When winter comes, Bo just may do a morning show of quarterback sales. I mean, don't take my word. He didn't say that. I'm just guessing when it's cold outside. Let's see. Scroll down a little, get past the wax. Cooter says, when you move, you will have to hide a webcam to monitor Frank's yard so you know when it's going to rain. John says, platinum hobbies are around $200 on the street. Scroll down. Chrome Platinum is fire. My opinion, the light boxes I can get for $75 at the local. Oh, wow. So I'd check your LCS before buying online. I'll have to go my semi LCSs. I don't like my local card shop. But I like all of the other ones in the area. We've got one in Waupun, where Tom from Real Breaks in Waupun, Wisconsin. Brad runs Nelson Cards down in Stoughton. Let's see. Wally runs a store in, damn it, I can't think of the town. What the hell town is it? It's past Lake Mills. It's on the interstate. It's got the outlet malls. Son of a bee. That's a good one too. Let's see. Ed, have a great day. Have a great weekend. I will not be live tomorrow morning. Let's see. Jenny can get those hobby boxes for $150. Low Roller says GameStop sells cards now. That's interesting. There's a GameStop just down the street from me. It's right across from the Target store. Abraham, what is up? Good morning. Lauren and I planning to hit the Janesville Card Show tomorrow. Awesome. I will see you there. Let's see. Jenny says Alex Bowman must be a racer. Now everyone knows why Bo sticks to his baseball niche. I think Dan Ryan is trying to start something like that up. Virtual card show. Yeah, I'm very intrigued with his endeavor, Card Show Live. Platinum anniversary for $150 sounds impossible. I don't know. They must get a good deal. They have the light boxes at $75 and hobbies at $150. Paige and Deanie Bean says, you started me down this new lane of setting aside pen, pencil marked cards from the vintage era. Missing card registry. So that's what I had for today. If you're going to a card show, have fun. I need to get back. There's a show in Oak Creek today, Oak Creek, Wisconsin, near Milwaukee. I really want to get to that show again. Will not make it today. I'll be in Janesville, Wisconsin tomorrow, so come check out my quarter boxes. I might be doing a little shopping myself. The next Madison card show is Saturday, September 24th. Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. I'm out of coffee. And then the big Midwest Premiere Show, 250 tables, Loves Park, Illinois, which is just outside of Rockford, right along the interstate, an hour drive from O'Hare. So come out, check that out. Midwest Premiere at the Indoor Sports Center. Beautiful facility, 250 tables, October 15th and October 16th. Herman's getting ready for Hobby Hotline. Yes, Hobby Hotline is coming up at 10 o'clock. So a little over an hour away, Hobby Hotline. Check it out. Herman's on. The Texas Card Dude, Brad, is on. And who is on with you, Herman? I saw the list last night, but I can't remember. Herman and Brad, they're on Hobby Hotline, 10 a.m. this morning. Diego is in here. He's going to catch the replay. Have a great day. So that's going to wrap it up. I will not be live tomorrow morning. Victor, yes, Victor's on, the rookie card specialist. So catch me in Janesville tomorrow for the Janesville Card Show. I'll send out some tweets from the show, and have a safe weekend. Connor from Buy Sports Cards. Aha. Okay. Hit the like button if you have not already. Subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to check out Bench Clear Media. My chat with Ty is now online. We talk efficiencies in eBay selling. So check that out. Just went live yesterday over on Bench Clear Media. So have a great weekend. Have a great day. Back on Hobby Evolution. For the devil number 666 on Monday morning, Labor Day. Have a great weekend. We'll see you then.